The Mercedes screeched to a halt. A young man in designer clothes lunged at the female officer. Her K9 partner Zara, a Belgian Malinois, snarled and leaped. Officer Amina Hassan had pulled over countless vehicles in her 5 years with Chicago PD. But nothing prepared her for this traffic stop. The son of the city's most dangerous crime boss, a brutal attack, and a German shepherd named Omar who would change everything. If you love incredible dog stories, smash that like button and comment with your city. You won't believe where this goes. The Mafia son, Rashid Volkov, threw a savage punch at Amina's face. Zara clamped onto his arm, but Rashid grabbed a tire iron from his car. Blood sprayed across the pavement as he swung, connecting with Zara's skull. The K9 collapsed. Amina's hand went to her gun, but Rashid was faster. He had her backup weapon. 3 shots rang out. From across the street, a massive German shepherd watched from the shadows. His ears flattened, his muscles tensed. But what happened next made no sense. The dog wore a vest with patches. Military patches. Patches that had been classified as destroyed 3 years ago. Who was this dog? And why was he wearing the gear of a dead Navy SEAL? That German shepherd was Omar. He'd belonged to Lieutenant Tariq Mansour, a Navy SEAL killed in action in Afghanistan 3 years prior. Or so the record said. When Tariq died, Omar vanished from the military kennel. No adoption records, no transfer papers. Just gone. Amina lay bleeding on the concrete. Zara wasn't moving. Rashid stood over them, laughing. "My father owns this city. You're dead, cop." Omar emerged from the shadows, not barking, not rushing, calculating, his eyes locked on Rashid with an intelligence that seemed almost human. He circled slowly, herding Rashid away from the officer and her K9. Rashid fired twice at Omar. Both shots missed, impossibly. Omar moved like he knew where the bullets would go before Rashid pulled the trigger. A witness later told investigators, "That dog moved like a trained soldier. Not like any police K9 I've ever seen." The forensics team examined Omar's movements on the dash cam. Their conclusion? This dog has military combat training, advanced special operations level. But according to records, that program was terminated, and all the dogs were supposedly euthanized. Rashid lunged at Omar with the tire iron. Omar dodged, then did something that made the responding officers freeze. He executed a tactical flanking maneuver, the exact technique used by Navy SEAL K9s to disarm armed combatants. Omar went low, swept Rashid's legs, and pinned him with precision that seemed choreographed. Within 90 seconds, backup arrived. Rashid was arrested. Amina and Zara were rushed to the hospital. And Omar? He sat perfectly still, guarding Zara's body until the K9 ambulance arrived. Then he vanished. Detective Bilal Rahman arrived at the scene. He watched the dashcam footage 3 times. His hands shook. "Pull up every angle, every traffic camera. I need to see that dog again." They found him on 6 different cameras, always watching, always 1 block away from where Rashid's Mercedes had been driving. Like he'd been following the Mafia son for hours. Bilal ran the vest patches through military databases. His screen flashed red, classified, unauthorized access. But he'd seen enough. The unit number matched DevGru, SEAL Team 6. The handler number matched Lieutenant Tariq Mansour. Bilal pulled Tariq's death certificate, killed in action, body never recovered. He pulled up the base security logs from 3 years ago. The night Tariq died, someone accessed the K9 compound. Someone downloaded classified files on ongoing cartel operations. And someone released a dog named Omar. The security footage showed a figure in tactical gear, but the face was blurred, intentionally erased from all databases. The timestamp? Exactly 12 hours after Tariq's official time of death. Bilal sat in his car, outside the hospital where Amina was recovering. Zara would live but needed surgery. He called his contact at Naval Criminal Investigative Service. "I need everything you have on Tariq Mansour, the real file, not the sanitized version." The line went silent for 10 seconds. "That name is flagged, detective. I can't help you, can't or won't. Same thing when you're dealing with classified operations. But if I were you, I'd stop looking. The people who want that name buried have unlimited resources." Bilal hung up. He wouldn't stop. He visited the only person who might talk, Yasmin Mansour, Tariq's sister. She lived in a small apartment on the south side, working as a nurse. When Bilal showed her the dash cam footage of Omar, she started crying. That's him. That's Tariq's dog. She pulled out a photo album. Pictures of Tariq and Omar in training. In Afghanistan, in Germany. Tariq raised him from a puppy, trained him personally. They were more than partners. They were brothers. Bilal leaned forward. What really happened to your brother? Yasmin's expression hardened. The Navy says he died in a raid, but 3 days before his death, Tariq called me. Said he'd discovered something in their target's compound. Something that connected a terrorist cell to organized crime back home. He was going to report it. A black SUV pulled up outside Yasmin's window. No plates. Tinted windows. Yasmin grabbed Bilal's arm. You need to leave. Now. They've been watching me for 3 years, and now they're watching you. Bilal returned to the precinct to find his captain, Samir Okafor, waiting at his desk. You're off the Rashid Volkov case. What? Why? Orders from the commissioner. This case is being handled by federal authorities now. The Volkov family has connections. We're stepping back. Bilal's jaw tightened. A Mafia son nearly killed one of our officers and her K9. We're just supposed to... You're supposed to follow orders, detective. Samir lowered his voice. And... You're supposed to stop digging into classified military operations. I got a call from someone very high up. They know you've been asking questions about Tariq Mansour. Bilal felt ice in his veins. How did they know everything. And they're telling you to stop. For your own safety. That night, Bilal received an anonymous text. A location. An abandoned warehouse in the industrial district. Against every instinct, he went. Omar was waiting inside. Next to him, a laptop. Open. Running. On the screen, classified documents, shipping manifests, bank transfers, and photos. Photos of Rashid Volkov meeting with known terrorists. Photos of his father, Ibrahim Volkov, facilitating weapons trades. Photos of police captains and federal agents on the Volkov payroll. Omar sat perfectly still like he'd been expecting Bilal. The detective realized something impossible. This dog had led him here, deliberately, intelligently. Bilal scrolled through the files. His blood ran cold. The terrorist cell Tariq had discovered, they weren't just connected to the Volkov family. They were the Volkov operation. The Mafia had been funding attacks across 3 continents, and Tariq had proof. Which meant
Tariq had been murdered by his own government to protect the operation.
Bilal photographed everything. When he tried to copy the files, the laptop self-destructed, wiping clean. But Omar remained calm. He nudged a backpack hidden under debris. Inside, hard drives, more documents, and a handwritten letter in Arabic. Bilal recognized the handwriting. Tariq's. The letter read, "If you're reading this, I'm dead. Omar will bring you here. He's been trained to find someone who can expose the truth." The Volkov family isn't just a crime syndicate, they're a government asset. They've been running black ops, funded by agencies that don't officially exist. I found proof. They'll kill me for it. They'll try to kill Omar. But he's smarter than all of them. Trust him. He'll show you everything. Bilal's phone buzzed. A news alert. Rashid Volkov had been released on bail, $12 million. His father's lawyers argued self-defense, claimed Amina had attacked first, and Rashid feared for his life. Another message came through. From Yasmin. Amina's hospital room was broken into. Someone tried to access her medical records. Security stopped them, but they escaped. Detective, they're cleaning up loose ends. You have maybe 12 hours before they come for all of us. Omar's ears perked up. He bolted to the warehouse door, barking once. Sharp, urgent. Bilal heard it too, the sound of multiple vehicles approaching. The black SUVs had found them, and they weren't here to talk. Omar led Bilal through a back exit, through storm drains, across rooftops. The dog moved with purpose, like he'd planned escape routes months in advance. They ended up at a safe house, a small apartment registered under a fake name. Inside, Bilal found more evidence. Photos of Ibrahim Volkov with CIA operatives. Transcripts of phone calls discussing asset management and target elimination. And one document that changed everything, a kill order, signed by a Navy admiral. Target, Lieutenant Tariq Mansour. Reason, compromised operational security. Bilal's hands shook. They murdered their own soldier. Then he saw the date on another document. His heart stopped. The kill order was dated before Tariq's supposed death in Afghanistan, which meant Tariq hadn't died in a raid. He'd been assassinated by his own team. But there was more. A second page. A list of names. People who knew about the Volkov operation. People who'd been systematically eliminated over 3 years. Reporters, federal prosecutors, whistleblowers. And at the bottom of the list, in red ink remaining loose ends, Yasmin Mansour, Detective Bilal Rahman, Officer Amina Hassan, K9 Zara, Asset Omar must be neutralized. Omar walked to a wall safe hidden behind a painting. He scratched at it deliberately. Bilal found the code written in Tariq's letter. Inside, a video camera and a memory card labeled Proof of Life. Bilal plugged it into his laptop. The video started, and his entire world shattered. Because on that screen, alive and speaking directly to the camera, was Lieutenant Tariq Mansour, recording this video 6 months ago. Tariq Mansour was alive. If you're still watching this, hit that subscribe button right now, because what's about to happen is absolutely insane. This story gets so much crazier. Tariq's video confession explained everything. He discovered the Volkov CIA connection while deployed. When he reported it through proper channels, he was marked for termination. But Tariq was a SEAL. He saw it coming. He faked his death, released Omar with all the evidence, and went underground. For 3 years he'd been living in hiding, gathering more proof, waiting for the right moment, watching as Omar protected the evidence, and waited for someone trustworthy to find it. Every coincidence that led Bilal to this moment, orchestrated by Tariq and Omar working together. The Volkov family is planning something massive, Tariq said on the video, an attack on U.S. soil. Within weeks, they have inside help at the highest levels. If you're watching this, Detective Rahman, yes, I know your name. You're the only cop in Chicago whose record shows integrity. Omar chose you. Now you need to choose, walk away, or help me stop them. Bilal looked at Omar. The dog stared back with those knowing eyes. Your handler is alive, and we're going to find him. Bilal called Yasmin. Pack a bag. Don't tell anyone. I'm sending a patrol car to get you and Amina from the hospital. His phone died. He tried Yasmin's backup number. No signal. Someone had jammed communications in the area. Omar's growl was low and dangerous. He positioned himself between Bilal and the door. The apartment's window exploded inward. Flashbang grenade. Then another. Smoke filled the room. Bilal heard boots. On the stairs. Multiple armed men. Omar barked once. The signal Tariq had trained him to give when there was no choice left. Fight or die. The door burst open. 4 men in tactical gear, weapons raised. No badges. No identification, just killers. Omar moved like lightning, taking down the first man before he could fire. Bilal grabbed the man's weapon and returned fire, dropping the second attacker. The third man aimed at Omar. Bilal's shot hit him in the shoulder, but the fourth man had a clear line on Bilal. His finger tightened on the trigger. Omar launched himself at the man's throat. They crashed through the apartment's back wall into the adjacent room. Bilal heard snarling, screaming, and then silence, more footsteps. A dozen more. This wasn't just a hit squad, it was a small army. Bilal and Omar fought their way to the roof, taking fire the entire way. Omar took a bullet to his rear leg but didn't stop. He led Bilal across 3 rooftops before they cornered themselves at the edge of a building. Below, a 20-foot drop into a dumpster. Behind them, armed men closing in. Bilal looked at Omar. Your handler better be worth this. Omar jumped first. Bilal followed. They landed hard. Bilal's ankle twisted. Omar limped but stayed on his feet. They ran through alleys, through crowds, trying to disappear. But the SUVs kept coming, cutting off escape routes, boxing them in. Finally, they were trapped in a dead-end alley. 6 men approached from the entrance, weapons drawn. No way out. Bilal had 3 bullets left. Omar's leg was bleeding badly. The leader stepped forward. Give us the dog and the evidence, detective. We'll let you live." Bilal raised his weapon. "Not a chance." The man smiled. "Then you'll both—" A shot rang out. The man's head snapped back. He dropped. The other 5 spun around, searching for the shooter. Another shot. Another man down. Then 3 more shots in rapid succession. 3 more bodies hit the ground. From a rooftop across the alley, a figure in tactical gear lowered his rifle. A German shepherd sat beside him. Wait, that wasn't Omar. That was Zara, healed and back in action. And the man on the roof said 4 words that changed everything. "Omar, it's time, brother." Lieutenant Tariq Mansour had come out of hiding, with Zara and Amina, who discharged herself from the hospital against doctor's orders. Together, they'd tracked Bilal and Omar's location through Omar's subcutaneous tracker, a device Tariq had implanted 3 years ago for exactly this scenario. Tariq rappelled down, Omar limping over to his handler for the first time in 3 years. The reunion lasted 5 seconds. They were still in danger. "We need to move, now. I have a safe house 2 miles from here." At the safe house, Tariq laid out the final pieces. Ibrahim Volkov wasn't just running a criminal empire. He was the CIA's primary asset for black operations in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. When Tariq discovered this, the agency decided he was too great a risk, so they tried to eliminate him. "Omar knew everything," Tariq explained. "I trained him to recognize faces from photos, to track specific people, to gather evidence. For 3 years he's been watching the Volkov family, recording their movements, leading him to you, detective, when the time was right." Bilal stared at the dog in awe. "He's been running his own investigation. He's been doing more than that." "Show them, Omar." Omar walked to a hidden panel in the wall. Behind it, enough evidence to bring down not just the Volkov family, but corrupt officials in the CIA, FBI, and Chicago PD. Hundreds of hours of surveillance footage, financial records, communications, everything. Amina looked at her phone. "We can't trust official channels. Everyone in the system is either bought or scared." Tariq nodded. "That's why we're going to the press. All of it tonight. But first," he pulled up a live security feed. "Ibrahim Volkov's compound. We're going to make sure they can't run. And we're going to get a confession. On camera." Yasmin entered the room carrying medical supplies for Omar and Zara. Her face was pale. "I just got a message from my contact at the hospital. Rashid Volkov was admitted 2 hours ago. Poisoning. His own father tried to kill him, to tie up loose ends." She looked at Tariq. "If Ibrahim is eliminating his own son, he knows we're coming. This is a trap. They went anyway. Because sometimes the right thing means walking into the trap and turning it around." Tariq, Amina, Bilal, Omar, and Zara approached Ibrahim's compound at dawn. They were live streaming everything to 50 media outlets simultaneously, no cover-up possible. Ibrahim met them at the gate, surrounded by armed guards. "You think you can touch me? I'm untouchable. I have more power than—" Tariq held up his phone. "You're live on every major news network right now. 60 million people watching. Confess or die in prison." Ibrahim laughed. Then federal vehicles swarmed the compound. But these weren't corrupt agents. These were the few Tariq had vetted personally, led by FBI Deputy Director Layla Aziz, who'd been waiting for this evidence for 5 years. Ibrahim Volkov was arrested. So were 17 CIA operatives, 12 police officers, and 5 federal judges. The conspiracy unraveled in real time on international television, the biggest corruption scandal in U.S. history. Rashid survived the poisoning. He testified against his father in exchange for a reduced sentence. He would spend 30 years in prison instead of life. The attack on Amina and Zara haunted him. "I was raised to be a monster," he told investigators. "That dog showed me I could still be human." Amina and Zara recovered fully. They returned to duty with full honors. Amina was promoted to sergeant and started a new K-9 training program focused on advanced tactical operations. Tariq was pardoned by the president personally, cleared of all charges, given full military honors. But he didn't care about any of that. He cared that Omar was safe, that his sister was safe, that justice had been served. On a quiet morning in a park outside Chicago, Tariq threw a ball. Omar ran, no longer limping, fully healed. The same unstoppable force he'd always been. Yasmin watched from a bench, tears of relief streaming down her face. Her brother was alive. The nightmare was over. Zara and Amina joined them. 4 heroes, 2 human, 2 canine. The dogs that changed everything. Omar sat beside his handler, and for the first time in 3 years, Tariq saw peace in those intelligent eyes. The mission was complete. 6 months later, the Mansour Protocol was established, a new whistleblower protection program for military personnel, named after the SEAL who risked everything to expose corruption. Tariq trained a new generation of handlers in K9S, teaching them that dogs aren't just tools. They're partners, heroes, family. Omar became the most decorated military working dog in history, but he wasn't interested in medals. He was interested in ball throws and long runs and sleeping next to Tariq's bed. The simple life of a good dog who'd done impossible things. The Volkov criminal empire was dismantled. Hundreds of victims received justice, and corruption in law enforcement faced unprecedented scrutiny and reform. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Share this with everyone you know who needs to hear about true heroism. Comment below with what you'd name your own hero dog. And remember, sometimes the greatest warriors have 4 legs and the most loyal hearts. Because in the end, it wasn't the SEALs or the detectives or the officers who changed everything. It was a German shepherd named Omar who refused to let evil win, who protected the innocent, who brought truth to light. One dog against an empire. And he won.